Well. Guess what, guys? I'm back. Guess what, guys? It's New Age to Jesus Short Stories, Part 11. Guess what, guys? It's been a long time. It's been a year since I started this series of New Age to Jesus short stories explaining all the different things that I was involved in, breaking it all down into short segmented stories and doing a little analysis of those aspects of life, whether it be yoga or meditation, whether it be law of attraction, even Wicca, times I played with the Ouija board and the major impact that it had on my life, so it would seem. So breaking down all the segments of the life I lived up until the time I was born again in September of 2018. And for 20 years, I made my identified with the occults and with New Age and witchcrafts and all that stuff. Today I'm talking about the next chapter in my life, which was a book. The book is called Conversations with God by Neale Spitzer? I don't know. Something like that. I had heard about this book several times and I heard people talk about it. At this point, I had been in law of attraction for a couple of years. It was 2007 that I read it. So I already have some like pretty grand ideas of like spiritual reality and the universe and who we are and the goddesses we are. I already have some delusions of grandeur concerning all that, but this book pushed it to the limit. Really pushed it to the limit. This isn't the most blasphemous thing I would ever read, but it's close and it's sad. The person who wrote this either really believed this was God talking to him, or this person is just a liar. Neither are good. But if this really thought this was God, how sad for you. I mean, it's sad for me and everybody else that read it and believed it. Now, remember, I'm in New Age, and this is some kind of weird mindset where you just sort of believe everything you hear. Mostly. Not everything, but most things that you hear, you're like, oh, yeah, well, the universe definitely does this. And the universe definitely is waiting for you to align yourself and your thinking with its laws. Oh, this is definitely that. Oh, the watchtowers of the East. Sure, bring them on in. It's a weird thing. It's a weird mental state. Which I'm not here to do an autopsy on at this moment, but just to tell the story of the book, because it takes me about half the video to tell the story of the book. So I read the book. So basically, it's this guy. And he suddenly just starts writing down these conversations he's having with the air, the wall, something, the devil. He thinks it's God. And it's a conversation. It's a back and forth. It's a dialogue. And it's a big book like this. And there's like 3 of them. And then there was a foundation and a farm and an institute made after these books. And basically, it completely, chapter by chapter, dismantles biblical Christianity. And I didn't understand that then at all because I didn't really understand biblical Christianity. So it was kind of like tedious to like read about, oh, but what about sin? Oh, sin isn't real. And they lied to you and they tried to control you. Oh, but what about this? Oh, sex with everybody is great because you're expressing so much and then you're making a child. It's the ultimate act of creativity. So it's just like stuff like this over and over and over again. So most of it, I didn't really care about because I didn't have Christianity in me to dismantle, I didn't have a very accurate or true love of Jesus anymore, maybe when I was 10. But now I am in my 30s and whatever, right? So here's a story. At some point, I'm reading the book and it goes into all kinds of really crazy ideas, like as if there's no real time and everything's happening right now. All of history, everything's happening right now all at once. And it's The main idea is a couple of things. And one is that everything is fine because everything is the universe experiencing itself. So if anything's wrong, it can correct it, right? So that kind of goes hand in hand with law of attraction. Like, oh, you're just sifting through what it is you really want and what it is that isn't working for you. And what is a part of your ego and what is your motivation for, okay. It's kind of the same idea, except it takes it a little step further. Never did I really understand my predilection towards a state of mania until this book. And it was just a little paragraph. I don't even remember exactly what it said, but it's something about how like you're afraid of who you really are. Not that I haven't already heard that from Marianne Williamson or something like that, but like it said like, you are my equal. You are my something, you are my something, you are my equal. And I believed it and it did something to me. And it did something to me physically. Like I felt a rush of something. I felt the engine run, get your motor running. And I felt an acceleration of like everything. And from that moment, I stepped in to a like 3 to 4 month manic episode. It was awesome. So my manic episodes are not over the top, but there's a few things that you could definitely identify a manic episode. One is like, I'm talking a lot and like everything is amazing and I can make an amazing connection with everything. And somehow, I don't know what I sound like to other people, but I think I'm brilliant because I feel brilliant. Okay. And I feel beautiful and I actually look, I don't know what that is. I've heard about that can make you like look pretty. And a bit of carelessness. Not the worst, not the worst, but the other thing that is no sleeping. Like there's no eating and no sleeping. It was at this point in my life where I really started paying attention to numbers and signs and songs that would come on the radio, thinking I was in the middle of this spiritual cacophony and that I was at the center of the universe and all of the universe was cheering me on with these signs. So for me, the manic episode is awesome and like wonderful and I love it. I could stay there forever, but it doesn't last forever. And I honestly could have come down off of that manic episode like gracefully and not have crashed, but I did. I knew that I needed to like sleep. I knew I needed to drink water. I knew I needed to stay away from certain things and people. Okay. So in that fall of 2007, I had my third and final complete and total and utter and full complete nervous breakdown. Number 3. And again, it would again, once more, take me a year to get out of this thing. And it's such a nightmare. So what did we learn? Nothing. I didn't learn anything. So what are we dealing with? A crazy, loose, unregulated mind that would just take this kind of thing and make it a real thing and be influenced by it to this extent. Like what extent we mean, just really my goal at this point in my life, which I've mentioned before, was just to be hedonistic. I wanted lots of money. I wanted to just feel good. Everything was about feeling good. Everything was about self-pleasing and all this it really was. And the absolute, excuse for that was all the bad past and the traumas and everything. Like, no, now I'm taking care of myself in the way nothing could, whether that ended you up in like, any kind of level of degeneracy or even burlesque, stripping, the sexuality with people, loose, like no real values. And that's not true for everybody. So what are you talking about? I'm talking about someone like me, someone who's getting heavy into New Age and further away from God and further away from Christ. but not just the strange allure of it, but also the spiritual reality of these things. That if there is a dark spiritual aspect to the spirit world, if there's a dark forces that will use things like this to take you from God, then that's having a bigger impact than just your worldly fleshy notions, that has long-term eternal consequences. And not just that, but it makes you and your behaviors responsible for how you affect other people around you. So if you're becoming like a new age influencer and telling other people what's good about life and they're just sucking it all in, just like I did, then no, there's bigger, my shoulder, implications. There's bigger implications. Because a lot of times people would read something like this and it would be food for thought or interesting. But then there's some of us like me that took this seriously all the way, took it all the way as best we could. I am God. I am your equal. I'm your equal. Do you know what that does to a person who's willing to believe it? Oh man. So things just went off the rails. But even after I crashed into a depression, I still believed in this sentiment, in this book, and I even gave a copy to my father-in-law. He never mentioned it. But this thing about you being God's equal is pretty much the end game goal of demonic forces, of the satanic, is that you are God. You are to be like God. You are God. You're your own God. And self-worship, self-idolatry, and all of that, that's the aim. And this does it very, very well. At least for someone like me. Like, I don't know how many people would actually pick up this book and take it seriously. But I was just in that. I was easily baited. Why do we do this? Why do we just believe it? Weird, right? So is that kind of like just a default of the mind, or is it like an induction, like you're under induction, or is it really a spiritual influence? But we have control of it in Jesus. We have control of it in Christ and Christ alone. That's it. If you're on this path, listen, Jesus is the answer. He is the truth, the way of the life. You are not God's equal. You cannot see the future. You do not know what's what or what's up and what's down. Not really. Even if you're psychic and you have demons telling you certain things about life, they're telling you do not have the full picture and never will. You cannot count the hairs on someone's head. Are they? Okay? You can't count the sand of the sea. Only God can. The God of the Bible. And only Jesus can save you. Only Jesus, by his sacrifice, atonement of his blood, and only his blood can appease a holy God, because God is holy. So if you're on that path, I ask you to ask yourself what it is you are really looking for. What is it you're really, really looking for? Because whatever you're going to tell me in the flesh and in the new age is always going to be like a poor, sad, limp thing compared to not only who God is, not only how God loves you, not only his truth, but the truth about being his child, and the truth about how he made you and the creation around you. The truth. The truth is reconciliation with God is what you're looking for. And the devil wants just to keep you from that truth as much as possible. At the end of 2007, I was a heap of flesh. I was in bad shape. Thankfully, that would be my last nervous breakdown into a year-long clinical depression. And it is in that depression of the 2008 year that I, started dating Keith to marry, and also got into Reiki. And that's tons of fun. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks for being here with me again. And that was just the next story. And I feel like I'm leaving a lot out. Of course, can't say everything. Stay away from this stuff. Open a Bible and let God talk to you. Okay. See you next time.